So about 11:18 a.m. this morning, our dispatch was listening to the school resource officers traffic on their radio, and they heard that it was a possible lockdown of a school. At that time, they started trying to determine what was going on, and they determined that there was a Special Olympics event that was being held at New Manchester High School, and that a male had a weapon. And so school resource officers made contact with that male. At that time, he took off running from the SROs. They called for all assistance. We came down and helped set up a perimeter, put our K-9 deputies and K-9s on the ground, and started to search for the male. Doing that search, we came across some evidence that led us to an address on Ferncrest Drive, and so investigators and uniformed deputies went to this address on Ferncrest Drive to make contact with anyone at the residence. A male exited the home, and a very brief conversation took place. At that time, gunfire was exchanged.
Did this individual who exited the home show a weapon, pull a gun?
Yes.
Yes.
He did.
Is this the same individual who was at the school?
I don't know that part yet. That part is still under investigation, so I cannot speak to that part from the sheriff's office, because we don't know that yet.
Was it a student who had the gun?
I don't believe it was a student.
But
teenager or about
Sorry?
the age range?
I'm not sure of the approximate age of the male. Like I said, that is still an investigation. Maybe the school can speak to that, but at this time, I don't have that information with me.
What is the condition of the individual?
He was transported to a area hospital, and I don't have his condition at this time.
you have an identity? Can you release a name of this
I don't have his
individual?
name. No, that's not being released yet.
All right. Can you say anything more about what led you to this house?
Yes, like I said, we were in the midst of the K-9 officers on the ground, and I believe a cell phone was recovered.
Where was it recovered?
I'm not sure of that.
Okay.
And to be clear, the guy with the gun was at the Special Olympics?
Now, here's what I do know is we received a call about a male with a gun at the Special Olympics event. Okay. The SROs chased him. Okay. We end up putting K-9 on the ground, and at some point when we found the cell phone, it led us to this residence. I'm not sure if that was the male or not at this time.
Does he match the description given by the SRO?
Yes.
The man who came to the door
Yes.
and encountered officers, he matches the description.
Yes.
The weapon he had was a gun at the school, and that he pulled a gun at this house toward officers.
When you say that he pulled the gun at the school, that he had the gun at the school, and are you asking me if that's the same gun?
Well, I just ascertaining whether he did indeed pull a gun on officers at this house.
Yes. Yes.
He never fired it though, right?
Never fired the gun
Did
at
he?
the school?
At the office, did he fire the gun at all, or he just
At
showed
the school?
No, here.
Here at the house. Did
Here at the house.
he fire at the
Yeah,
officers?
that was gunfire exchanged at
Okay,
the house.
okay, I missed that.
But
So
not at the
both the
school.
But
officer
not at
and
the
the
school.
suspect both fired their weapons.
That's correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you got me confused when you said that about showing the gun at the school or here
Okay.
at the residence.
All right.
So unaware if he brandished the firearm at the school, but he did.
That's correct.
Do you have any indication as to why he was at the school to begin with?
We do not have that information. This is an early stages of this investigation. The GBI has been called in because it is an officer-involved shooting, and so they are taking over the scene and the investigation at this time. So I'm sure that those questions will be answered, but at this time I don't have those answers.
That's all I have for you now.
His neighbors being cooperative? with the investigation?
They are. Of course, they're concerned, but we can put their concerns at ease, and let them know that the scene is contained and everybody is safe.
Any rough age on this male?
I'm not sure of his exact age, but I think it's somewhere maybe late teens, and early 20s.
Okay. But not a student?
That I know of. I can't speak to that. The school can speak to that, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
But you have his identity, everything like that. You're just not releasing that.
That's correct.
Was what time was the lockdown at the school?
Not certain what time we started the lockdown because the event itself started at 10.
Right.
So it was after the event started when the information was given to the officer, and then the officer engaged the subject, and he began to rant.
So it was in the early stages around the time they was doing the opening
Yes.
ceremony?
Somewhere around that time.
Okay. What time did y'all lift the lockdown?
We lifted the lockdown approximately an hour or so ago when we were certain that the person we believed to be armed on campus was not near campus and was no longer a threat. So we had an extended lockdown, but we had to ensure that everything and everyone was safe.
Are you aware if he brandished a firearm at the school?
From what I understood, no information that the subject brandished the gun, but yes, that a subject was armed on campus. Now, it was not in the school, it was at the stadium, not in the school itself, and exited campus pursued by officers.
Who reported him? Who reported that the gun, an armed man was on
An
campus?
attendee.
An attendee of
Yes.
the Special Olympics?
Yes.
So not a student per se.
No. No.
And then, of course, the stadium was put on lockdown. Right.
Yes, the stadium was put on lockdown. The school was on lockdown. We set up a perimeter around the stadium and the school. We also set up a perimeter around the area where the subject was last seen. The sheriff's department came in and filled in any gaps and set up a perimeter around both along with us.
And it was that cell phone that led you to that house?
Correct.
A cell phone found on the ground?
That's correct.
Can we get you to say your name and spell it for us, and your title as well?
Tracy Whaley, I'm the Chief of Police for Douglas County Schools. TRACEY WHALE.
Is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't covered?
No, it's just like Kevin said, very, very early stages of investigation. There's still a lot of information that has to be fleshed out, a lot of evidence that has to be reviewed. Just, the minimum now to let everyone know, everyone to be at ease, that everything is safe. But the investigation will continue, and there will be more information later, but we just have to investigate.
It's a good thing somebody came forward to say, hey, dude's got a gun.
That is always the case. We always rely on our stakeholders as part of our processes for keeping everything safe. We take every bit of information serious, and we investigate everything that comes to us.
The officer, or the deputy, he wasn't hit by a gun.
No, sir.
And he was a deputy, not a school.
That's correct. It was our deputies and our investigators, and that is correct. No one was hit by gunfire.
And I'd like to add that everything that we did today, I'm Portia Lake, PORTIALAKE with the Douglas County School System. I'm the Executive Director of Communications. And I'd like to add that we are extremely grateful that all of our students are safe. They continue to always be our number one priority. We had several district safety protocols in place. Every single one of them was followed. We did the code red lockdown. We immediately notified the parents. We immediately notified all of the family members by text and by email. And as far as inside the stadium, we secured the perimeter of the facility. All those teachers remained right there with their students. I was there inside the stadium when this was going on. Everyone was completely calm. Nobody was ever in danger. All students were safe, remained safe, and many of them continued having a good time with their classes that afternoon.
What happened on Monday is kind of...
That continues to be a source of anxiety and concern for a lot of parents, including myself. it's just unfortunate that we always have to continue worrying about our children, praying about the safety of our children, and praying for our schools across the nation. But we as a school system and our Board of Education, as well as our superintendent, we continue to go through these district safety drills and implementing new protocols to continue to keep our students safe at all times, as well as our faculty force.
Was Mr. North, has he been notified? No, he's out of town.
Absolutely. He has
Yeah.
been receiving minute-by-minute updates, both from me as well as Chief Tracy Whaley. Absolutely. He and the board members as well. We've notified them all.
And the lockdown lasted about 2 hours.
Yes.
Okay.
So all the students are made inside the stadium. They did their activities within their little clusters of groups to keep them
Okay.
safe before they were released.
Anything else you would like to add?
I'm just extremely grateful for the support and the quick response of not just of our school resource officers, who are invaluable resources in our school. I'm so glad to always have them there, and of course to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office for handling this situation and continuing to lead this investigation. I'm extremely grateful, of course, that our students and our staff follow the protocol that we continue to remind them of throughout the school year, and that our parents were cooperative and patient while we continue to keep them our main priority.
Portia Lake.
L-A-K-E, correct. Portia
it's
Lake.
Trent Wilson.
Trent
Yes.
Wilson, Tracy Whaley, EY.
Captain Trent Wilson. Okay.
And I forgot to ask, is there anything you'd like to add that we haven't covered?
No. I just want to reassure the residents of this subdivision that it is safe. The scene is safe, and you have nothing to worry about.
Okay.
And the rest of the updates will be coming from GBI.
Yes, the rest of the updates that you will be receiving going forward will be coming from the GBI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
all. Thank you.